Hello, student. Good morning. Hope all of you well. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic: Akbar's religious policy. This is very important topic because in this class, mainly in class 7, this topic is very important for your syllabus and also you for your upcoming exam. Now we are going to discuss this topic. Okay. So, student, in your syllabus, Akbar and Mughal periods is very important period. And what is the duration of Akbar, student? The duration of Akbar is duration Akbar 1556 to 1605. Okay, this is the duration of Akbar. Now we are going to discuss about the religious policy. First of all, Akbar had a literal outlook and he was belonged to Orthodox Muslim. Now the question, what is Orthodox Muslim, or what do you mean by Orthodox Muslim? Mainly, Orthodox Muslim means those who are believe in the primary education of Islam, and mainly if you wanted to know mainly they are belongs to Sunni Muslim. Okay, this is the main features of Akbar religious identity. Now we are going to discuss other important aspect of Akbar religious policy. First of all, look, Akbar, we all know Akbar had many Hindu wives. So his Hindu wives and member of his courts like Birbal were allowed to practice their religion. That means those Akbar's Hindu wives and court members, those who were the Hindus like Birbal, they are allowed to maintain their religion and they follow their religion. Now, now later, Akbar abolished two important taxes, which were, look, first of all, pilgrimage tax and jizya tax. Pilgrimage tax, another name was tirth tax, and this was, and next one, jizya tax name non-Muslim tax. I mean to say that pilgrimage tax, another name was tirth tax. Okay, we all know Hindu, those who are belong to Hindu community, they are always going to their holy place. Okay, and whenever they are going to any holy place, okay, they have to pay this type of tax. And next is jizya tax, and this tax was imposed on non-Muslim community. Okay, that means those who are not related with Muslim community, they have to pay this tax. These are two very important tax in those days abolished by Akbar. Okay, another very important rule abolished by Akbar. This one, he abolished the practice of forcibly converting the prisoner of the war to Islam. Okay, that means abolishing the forcibly converting the prisoner in the Islam. Look, in those days were a very normal event. So those who were the prisoner of the war in those days, whether they are non-Muslim, they are converted into Muslim, and this is a very big problem in those days, mainly in social era. So Akbar abolished this type of rituals. And another very important aspect that in those days, yes, Akbar was the supreme power of the dynasty, and he participated in all type of Hindu festivals like Holi, Deepavali, and Raksha Bandhan. He was related with this type of festival. Next, another very important segment that we all know, Akbar had liberal outlook. That's why he created Ibadat Khana. Ibadat Khana, that means hall of worship. And this Ibadat Khana situated at Fatehpur Sikri, Fatehpur Sikri. In this Ibadat Khana, the main discussion things is science, nature, history, etc. But sometimes Akbar invited the ulemas of Muslims, Brahmins, of Hindus, Christian missionaries, Buddhists, Jainist monks, Zoroastrians, etc. That means in those days Akbar invited various type of those who were the religious leader of different religion. He invited them at Fatehpur Sikri and discuss about religion matters. Okay, so later Akbar was influenced by this type of discussion, and later he was introduced a new religion. Okay, Din-e-Ilahi. Okay, Din-e-Ilahi or Tawhid-e-Ilahi. That means divine faith. Okay, this is a very new religion, Din-e-Ilahi or Tawhid-e-Ilahi, introduced by Akbar in those days. Remember, student, in mainly in class 6 we are read about mainly Ashoka. If you Ashok, okay, another important ancient king of Indian history, mainly Mauryan dynasty. Whenever we are discuss about Ashoka, we all know Ashoka was introduced a little religion that was Dhamma. Okay, we all know Ashoka introduced a religion that's called Dhamma. Same in medieval period, mainly in Mughal period, Akbar was influenced by deeply influenced by Ibadat Khana's discussion, and he introduced Din-e-Ilahi or Tawhid-e-Ilahi, and this is a new type of religion. Only the members who were related with Akbar courts, members of Akbar court are were sorry were were related with this new religion. So, student, only the court members of Akbar are follow this new religion. Okay. So, student, it was just an order of the people who believe in the idea of universal peace. So, universal peace, that is called Sulhekul. Sulhekul. Universal peace, Sulhekul. That means Akbar had a outlook liberal outlook, and he believed in all type of religion. That's why he was deeply influenced by the discussion at Fatehpur Sikri. That's why he introduced Din-e-Ilahi or Tawhid-e-Ilahi, and later he take the new view that's called Sulhekul. So this is the religious picture of Akbar religion policy. This is the outlook of Akbar religious policy, and this policy was followed by later Jahangir, Shah Jahan. I mean to say that his successor Jahangir, Shah Jahan, both follow this policy, and this policy is very important for Indian history and Indian culture. So, student, this is very important medieval thinking, and this is very important because we all know our country. In our country, there are various type of religion, various type of people. Okay, so this type of religious liberalism is very important for our nation, and in medieval period, Akbar introduced such type of liberalism, such type of what can I say? This is liberalism, and this is very important statement for people, for all people of dynasty, that the supreme power, that means the sultan of the dynasty was very liberal. So, student, this is very important topic. Hope all of you understand this topic properly, and if you have any question, so student, I hope all of you understand this topic properly, and if you have any question or any doubt, you can ask me. So, student, thank you.